When the evening settles and the day grows still, stories rise softly from memory's hill. These are the letters we carry inside, stories of love, loss, and pride. Welcome, my friend, to Porchlight Letters.
Hey, kia ora, Helen Brums here, coming to you live from Waikanae Beach in New Zealand. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2443. Our question for today is, how do I interview someone with memory loss? Now, this is a very interesting question and one I've had to deal with over the years. I've had both my grandmothers and my mother-in-law suffer from either dementia or Alzheimer's. And watching them retreat and seeing their memories fade was a hard thing to do. I saw it more with although I did have fun. Some people call it insensitive. I was on a cruise one time and there was a woman next to me and we got talking and somehow dementia and Alzheimer's came up. And she mentioned her friend always, whenever they went out for lunch, would always order whatever she ordered. So that way, when she asked the person, what did you order? She knew what she was getting. And I thought that was a very creative way for her friend to deal with her, knowing that she had memory loss, to deal with her memory loss. I've seen it in I've seen other people suffering from it as well. But some of them can be very sharp at times, and at times the veil comes down and they just have no memory whatsoever. And other times they are perfectly clear. The last time I saw my grandmother was in the home that she was in. The first time I saw her in that home, she had no idea who I was, even though my picture was displayed on the dresser along with everybody else's. And she had pictures there of her children, the grandchildren, her husband. When she showed them to me, she says, there's all these faces here. She says, but you look like this one. I said, yes, that's me. And she goes, but I don't know why you're here. And I said, I'm your granddaughter. I said, this is my father, who is your son. And took her through the photographs. And she'd forgotten by the time I got to the last one. But that didn't matter. It was just a connection with her. But when I went back a few months later to see her for what turned out to be the final time, she knew exactly who I was, and she was able to name everybody in the photographs, and she knew who my parents were. She knew who my brothers were. She knew who my aunts and uncles were and their children. So she was very aware at that time. So when you're dealing with somebody with memory loss, even partial memories can hold meaningful stories. Just remember that even partial memories can hold meaningful stories. There may be times that when you're talking with them, they get a little confused. Take a break. At that time, take a break. You can kind of have fun with them. And I will tell you this: when I was on this cruise, I was on the Celebrity Solstice, and it was in May of 2018. It was my first cruise after Brad had passed. I'm on a ship with over 3,000 strangers. I knew nobody on board. It was the most emotional cruise I have ever taken. I don't think I've ever felt so alone. And when it suddenly hit me that when I'm traveling, I'm not going to be traveling by myself. This was my life, traveling by myself. It hit me very, very hard that I wouldn't have Brad with me to keep me company, to have fun, to share the adventures with. I had nobody on the ship to share the adventures with. I knew nobody. I had my Casey Kiwi, who I actually think is in a box, in a bag back in the States, which is about to be shipped over here. I had him with me, and I carried him everywhere. And I knew more crew on that ship than I did passengers. But we were at this table one night with a group of strangers got put together at a table, and it was fine. And there was a couple there who I'd dined with before, and her and I were talking about Alzheimer's and this. And as we're talking about some of the fun things that you can have with people with Alzheimer's, you either got to laugh or cry. And this other woman across the table took great offense to the fact that she called it making fun of the people that we loved that has Alzheimer's. It turned out that she was a caregiver, one of those people that you hire that come into the home and help take care of the people with Alzheimer's and dementia. And she thought we were being completely insensitive. And that was after I told the story of the time one of the times I visited my Nana. when I went in there, and her question of the day, and whenever I went and visited, Mum and I would have a call at the end of the day, and she goes, oh, what was your question? And we would ask each other, what was your question of the day? Mine was, how did I get there? And I said, oh, I drove here. Oh, you have a car, do you? Yes, I have a car. Which one is it? It's the yellow one out there. Oh, that's nice. How did you get here? And this was going to be this for the next 20 minutes. How did I get there? Oh, you have a car, do you? Which one is it? Oh, that's nice. How did you get here? And that was my questions for the day. By the time I left, I had driven every car in the parking lot, including the motorcycles, but I made sure that just in case something stuck, that the last one I gave her was my car. I gave her my car at the beginning. I gave her my car at the end. Maybe there'll be some connection. I don't know. And so when she watched me walking out to go out to get in my car, I got in the yellow car that I just told her about. So we had these kind of things. And like my photograph on her dresser would either be face down, the frame with the photograph will be hidden, the frame would be sitting there, but the photograph would be gone. My picture on the dresser of all of her grandchildren was the only one that ever got moved or hidden. And Mum would call me up and says, when did you last visit Nana? And I would tell her, and she goes, I think you need to go up again. I'm like, why? I go, where did you find my picture this time? And it went from being face down to being tucked into her underwear drawer, and not a good place to go, to being hidden somewhere in the room, but they'd always find it and put it back up. And I think it's because I visited her the most, that she sort of thought, well, I kind of know this person. They haven't been to see me for a while, so I'm just not going to bother with them, even though the other grandchildren were all up there and hadn't been to see her. But these are memories that I have, and they're good memories that I have, of my grandparents. And my mother-in-law was, we started noticing the decline. And so I got to watch her decline a lot more closely than I did with my two grandmothers. I guess because we were living with her for a while when we first started really noticing it. And then she ended up getting put into a home. And so when we visited her in the home, we would notice the decline with her. But she never forgot who we were, which was awesome. She never forgot who we were. There was challenges with her in that, but there's times that we could ask her about a time in history, like about 30, 40, 50 years ago. She would remember it clear as day. It just depends on where they are at in their memory loss as to what they can recall and what they can't. So here are some key points on talking on how you interview somebody with memory loss. Use simple and familiar prompts. Questions about routine or familiar places often trigger the memory. Asking about childhood homes or daily habits can be effective as well. Familiar topics create comfort with them. If it's something that they're familiar with, depending on where they are in the I'm not sure what the actual term is, in the loss of memory, as to what year they're up to and things like that. Use visual and sensory cues. Photographs, objects, music can stimulate recall. I remember watching a video one time of a prima donna ballerina who had retired years ago. She was like in her 90s, in Alzheimer's, I don't think she was she was slightly communicative at this point. And they put headphones on her and played her Swan Lake. And all of a sudden her arms came, she sat up straight in her chair. They watched this, they videoed this. I mean, I still get goosebumps every time I think about it. But she was sort of like curled down in the chair. And as soon as she started hearing Swan Lake, the head came up, the neck extended, the shoulders went back. She pulled it. It was like somebody had pulled up a puppet on a string. And she came up and she started, while in her wheelchair, doing all the arm movements of the dance. She was dancing her Swan Lake dance with all the arm movements and everything else. This was a person who was almost non-communicative, who was in her 90s, in full-blown Alzheimer's, yet they put this music on and she sat there in the chair and just danced. It was incredible to watch. And these cues often unlock memories that direct questions cannot. Sensory triggers are powerful tools. So if you're going to go and interview somebody, take some photographs with you, take some objects that mean something to them. Maybe there's different types of music that they enjoy. Have the music playing gently in the background so that it might refresh the memory and help with the memory. Keep sessions short and gentle. Fatigue can affect recall and comfort. Short interviews allow for better focus. If you see them starting to get tired, pause, have a cup of tea, take a break, maybe come back another day. Gentle pacing supports the storyteller. So don't have them rush. Don't pepper them with questions. Just one question at a time. And say, can you tell me more about that? And if they go, no, may sit there and you'll see this glazed look come over and you know that you're at the end of that session. Accept incomplete or fragmented stories. Memories may come in pieces. Even fragments can provide valuable insight. Do not expect complete narratives. You will not get them. If they're at the beginning stages of Alzheimer's or dementia, maybe. If they are more in the middle, absolutely not. You're not going to get the complete narratives. They'll be fragmented and it will be as whatever they recall, but keep recording whatever they recall, because there might be different parts to different stories in there. And later on, you can go back and you can sit down, listen to the recording and start putting the jigsaw puzzle pieces together for the different stories, because next time you go back, you might get more pieces to go with these stories. Focus on connection rather than accuracy. The goal is not perfect recall. The goal is preserving what can still be shared. Connection matters more than completeness. So sit there with them, talk with them, ask them a simple question that they can go, show them a photograph or two back from when they were in their childhood, maybe from their wedding pictures or something. Just show them pictures from the past. And sometimes if you show more recent pictures, they may say, well, I don't know who's in these photographs. And you're like, that's okay. I wasn't sure if this was a photograph that you would I wasn't sure if this was a family photograph from our family or not. Don't put it on and say, well, this is your son and da 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 da. Saying I wasn't sure if this was one of our family photographs or not, but I found it, so I thought I'd bring it along. And if they don't recognize it, you've got to go back a little further. So have photographs ready in different time periods to be able to pull them out, because that will give you an idea of where their mind is at that day. You might go back and you might go back, a week later, and they totally know who's in that recent photograph. I have dementia and Alzheimer's. It is hard to watch somebody go through it. It is hard for those that are taking care of those people. And sometimes you can have the most rewarding conversations with the people, and other times they're just stuck on a loop, and that's okay. And why all this matters is because every memory preserved adds value to family history, whether it's just a little pieces of things, because you might take those pieces and tell somebody else in the family about these pieces you have, and they may be able to go ahead and tell you the story. You never know. You never know where these questions are going to go. But your practical takeaway for today is use simple prompts and accept partial stories. And partial stories are totally okay, because you're able to preserve what they can remember at the time. And, I had some good years with my grandmothers and with my mother-in-law. They were all amazing women, and the stories that they got to share with me throughout my life were invaluable. Do I remember many of them now? No. To be honest, no. There are times that something will trigger that. Even with me, there are times that something will trigger a memory. And so then I go and write it down, or I'm on here and I'm talking about it. So it's getting recorded in some way or another. What was the one time? Yeah, there was one time with my Nana. She lived in this assisted living place. And so her memory was starting to go. And we were outside and we were walking around, and we'd gone out the front door and we were going to walk around the building to go back into her room. So we walked down the hallway and out the front door, and we walked around the side, and we get to this wing, and there's a door that's open there that takes you into this wing of the assisted living home. And she's walking along with her arm hooked through my arm. So I'm kind of assisting her as she's walking along. And she goes, see that door there? And I go, yep. She goes, that's the men's wing. And sometimes I go through there as a shortcut. And I just looked at her and went, oh, you go visit your boyfriends, do you? She slapped me. This hand comes around, slaps me on the arm here, and says, don't be so stupid, Helen. And I just started roaring with laughter. It was because it was one of the most lighthearted moments that I'd had with her in a while. And for her to be able to just turn around and just slap me and go, don't be so stupid, Helen. And I just started laughing. And we carried on our walk, and we went in the door into her wing and back to her room again. But it was just one of those clear days with her, where she, it was, like I said, it was right at the beginning when her mind was starting to go. But I had a great memory of that day. And it was kind of cool to get slapped by my nana and told not to be so stupid. I thought she'd never told me that before, never told me not to be stupid before, but that was just one of those moments that I will cherish for a very, very, for the rest of my life, because it was just one of our little intimate moments with my nana. But if you want help with questions, scan the QR code up here in the top right-hand corner and set up a 30-minute discovery call with us, and we'll be more than happy to go over some questions for you. And our closing thought: even small memories matter. It doesn't matter if the memory is explained in detail. It doesn't matter if it's just a short memory. Every memory matters. And with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. And this time I will try not to let the fact that I thought I was on time today. I was actually an hour late. We went out of daylight savings. I should have been on at 1 p.m. my time instead of 2 p.m. I'll try to remember to be on time tomorrow. Hei konara.
The stories we carry stay bright through the night, a small steady glow in the fading light. Stories of love, loss, and pride we share, until we meet again. Keep the porch light burning.